Members of the Harrison Fire Department sprang to action quickly this morning when the call came in that the former Hoops and Home Runs Hotel and Apartments was on fire. Harrison Fire Chief Linda DeWald tells us more about the fire and the potentially deadly situations that arose.
It was quite an undertaking. You know, the guys did a great job. They protected the exposures, one being our ladder truck they had to protect while they were fighting the fire with the bucket and the ladder itself, and we had a hand line spraying the ladder truck down itself. So, and as far as this truck, then we had the issue on the back with all the power poles catching fire, and no electricity to the building, though the power was a huge concern. The live wires running right behind the building, and this is the truck that was supplying the water and to protect the exposures that the closest building to this Hoops and Home Run. And you know, we were fortunate we didn't have people inside a building with it. In the lines, because it just, when it went, it just died. We didn't have any warning of it. And it looks pretty on the outside. All our trucks do. We do a good job, but you know, it's a 20-year-old truck. We've struggled with it at best. Our 25-year-old truck is better than this truck, I mean, and it needs replaced as well. And as a matter of fact, they went to put it in pump gear to pick up where this one left off, and they had to try 2 or 3 times. They didn't want to, transfer case didn't want to go over to pump our lines on that. So we finally got it hooked up and running. And it's just a perfect, again, it reinforces an indicator that we just need to replace these 2 trucks, and we're glad nobody was hurt.
To answer this latest development at the controversial location, Harrison Mayor Jeff Crockett ordered an emergency meeting of the City Council. Mayor Crockett made it clear that this problem has went on far too long and action must be taken now before things get worse.
We've been fighting this thing since 2008 when the roof blew off of it and they moved everybody out of it. In 2011 when I took office, we had the owner into the office here visiting about what to do with it and trying to secure it. The city ended up having to secure the building. Now that it's burnt, it's not securable anymore. We're to the point now that it has to come down. We don't have a choice. And at this point in time, I'm going to go to City Council tonight and inform them of this. And the City Council is going to have to hopefully step up to the plate and say, we are going to take reserves that we have on hand, tear the building down, get rid of it, and end up with a level site there, and then file a lien against the property for whoever might buy the property in the future to pay off. There is an interested party in buying the property at this point. They've been negotiating and doing their discovery on that property, and possibly they will step up to the plate and decide to go ahead and proceed and tear it down themselves rather than the city do it. But one way or the other, that building has to come down. It's a health hazard, not only because of the burnt and the fact that there's a lot of stuff in there that could contaminate, run off into the creek, another fire, whatever. But kids are going to be kids, and the building is not able to be secured anymore, and they're going to be in there, they're going to be playing around, and somebody's going to get hurt.
Fire Chief DeWald added to the mayor's sentiment that if this situation is not resolved by the council, it still leaves the city's departments in a very tough spot.
Well, it's city code and fire code that building, a burned building or any building, especially in danger, or has combustibles in it, needs to be secured, and there's no way to secure this building, so it makes the city and the owner or the landowner a liability. And but our code is that we need to secure the building. Somebody's going to have to put a fence up or something, because there's no way. Last time when they found the decomposed body a few years ago, they boarded it up well. The city did, and I guess the politics of who ended up paying for it, I don't know. But we haven't had any trouble with homeless or anything. People hanging out at this building. It hasn't been. I talked with the police chief, and again, he reinforced that there has been no issues. So at this point, you know, city's got to come up with something. Of the property owner, you know, there was rumor that it might have been in the middle of being sold. So if they were going to demolish it anyways, if they want to go ahead, and I know the city will work with people to get some stuff done, but it's a problem for all of us, you know, and maybe one to soon be solved. We can only.
Mayor Crockett also stressed that since the property owner wasn't pushed harder on the matter, the burden of the cost of this disaster falls on not just the city, but the taxpayers in the city.
Ultimately, the taxpayer, each citizen of the city of Harrison that pays taxes in any way, shape, or form, whether it be real estate, sales tax, or whatever, it paid for that fire this morning. So it's cost us a bunch of money. Not water loss, firemen's time, equipment, wear and tear. The one fire truck broke down on the job. Fortunately, they were fighting a fire in an abandoned building, so there wasn't a lot of life at risk there, and the firemen weren't inside the building trying to put out that fire. But can you imagine the fireman on the end of a hose inside a burning building with a fired pumper truck that stops pumping water? I mean, you're talking lives at risk. We don't need this. We have approved a sales tax. We need to move forward, and we need to replace the equipment that needs to be replaced and should have been replaced years ago.
Prior to this morning's fire, a party had shown interest in purchasing the spot. The problem now, however, is that, as officials have stressed, action must be taken immediately.
No, I just think that the city council needs to step up and move forward with this project. If the proposed buyer of this property won't step up, complete the purchase, and tear it down immediately, the city council needs to authorize the city to spend the money and tear it down and file a lien.
This is Harrison. We'll be bringing you live streaming coverage of tonight's emergency council meeting starting at 6:30 p.m., along with more details as they become available.